On the day of May 24th, I lost my little sister, Jackie Caceres. She was one of the sweetest souls anyone would ever meet. She would bring a smile to anyone's faces. I shouldn't have to be here right now. I should be at home watching a movie with my sister. It's summer. And I'm here begging for you guys to do something or to change something because the people that were supposed to keep her safe at school didn't. They failed.
I want to talk about this gun debate because that's every time we have these things, we end up having these gun debates. And I'll be honest with you, when I hear of these mass shootings, yes, in the moment I kind of feel, I feel it, especially when it's kids.
It's kids, exactly.
You feel it.
Especially if you have kids.
Especially if you have kids. But here's the thing, right? How I felt it the last time we had a mass shooting that involved kids, you
become desensitized.
I'm a lot more desensitized compared to previous ones, which goes to tell you that for me I'm going to be honest with you. It's not going to really change anything in terms of how I feel about guns or how I feel about any of these other things. I do feel that mental health is a big part of it. It's not the only factor. The access to guns is a big part of it too. And there's this debate online about whether we should come for the guns, restrict gun access, all these things. And then the Republicans on the other side, this is when all of a sudden they're all about mental health, and they all of a sudden care about mental health. It never gets anywhere. It never gets anywhere. What ends up happening is that people buy more guns. Gun sales usually go up when these things happen. The media has like a fanfare about it, and I think that in itself has a contagion effect. I think it does, because whenever the first one happens, we always have like several more that happen after. It seems to happen in series. So I think the effect of the media, we see it. I think it has a contagion effect for sure. The whole idea of mental health, I do feel like America has a serious mental health problem. And it's exacerbated by the fact that we have easy access to guns. The Uvalde shooter had just turned 18, and he had just purchased those guns. Now, some people have said that if we increase the age of, access to guns from 18 to 21, maybe we would have been able to avoid this. To be fair, there's a lot of these mass shootings that are by kids between 18 and 21, a good amount of them.
17, 18.
Yes. Some people also talk about the type of gun. There's a debate out there about automatic versus semi-automatic. Obviously, people don't really have access to automatics like that. Semi-automatics, though, was like a loophole where the gun doesn't shoot as fast as an automatic, but it still shoots pretty rapidly. Right. Mm-hmm. And there's this, people have proposed that maybe we take semi-automatics off the market and reduce people's access to them. Here's the problem that people don't understand when it comes to guns in this country, and I want to make this really clear. The Second Amendment is the Second Amendment for a reason. It emboldens the population. And the reason why they put it there in the event that we have a tyrannical government. What's that term again? A small militia? What was that term? There's something in the Second Amendment, something about militia.
A well-regulated militia.
A well-regulated militia. Yeah. Essentially, in the event that our government starts to overreach, the access to guns is supposed to give the people a sense of control of the situation. Now, let me be clear. I don't care what kind of guns you have. We have no chance against the American government. If in the weird event that they decided to turn on the people, we have zero chance compared to the kind of weaponry that the American government has.
Afghanistan and Vietnam would like to speak with you.
At its disposal.
Afghanistan and Vietnam would like to speak with you.
So you think we do have a chance?
Like Like,
I mean, it'll be a long, drawn out, protracted.
A conventional army
Mm-hmm.
always looks dumb in front of a guerrilla army.
Hmm.
Because look at it this way.
Yeah.
Basically, the Vietnamese and recently the Taliban
Mm-hmm.
defeated.
They chased Americans away.
Exactly.
But it came at the cost of a lot of dead Afghans.
But yes, a lot.
It's a lot of dead Afghans.
But you should also consider something.
Yeah.
What percentage of the U.S. military will be willing to begin
To turn on his people? Yeah. Yep. Fair point. But the point I'm trying to make is that there is no way people are going to give up guns. There's no way people are going to give up the semi-automatics.
I would even add something. Even if the Second Amendment is repealed tomorrow,
yes,
guns are not leaving this country.
They're not leaving this country. We have more guns. Yeah. We have more guns than we have.
It's a ship that has sailed.
It has sailed. I want people to understand this. We have more guns than we have people. Yeah. So even if people were to turn in guns, there are going to be people that end up not turning in their guns. Mm-hmm. And then all that makes you is a sitting duck. So as far as gun legislation goes and prohibiting like the sale of guns, I think that ship has sailed. However, what I want to talk about here is, are there things that we can do in regards to avoiding some of these situations? Like these kids that just graduated high school and, teenagers, they have a lot of teen angst. Energy. They are much more likely, as we've seen with the stats, to be the ones to go out there. Kids that get bullied in retaliation, they're more likely to go out there and go on mass shooting sprees. Is there something we can do? Maybe we can change the age. Are there and Lady V, I would like to hear from you on this matter, and you just give your general response on what you think about these mass shootings. I know you don't live in the United States, but just from an outsider, I'm curious, what do you think?
I think just along with the rest of the world, we look at what happens in the US and we think, there must be something deeply wrong in that country. But the more and more I've started to read about the arguments on both sides of the gun debate and look into the actual cases of mass shootings, the more I think, it's not, people tend to paint it as though this is a problem that's isolated to the US, but I think it's a broader problem with just disenfranchised youth and specifically young men, because I think almost all mass shootings are perpetrated by young men. And this is not an isolated problem. Like all over the world, you have young men who are disenfranchised, disconnected from society that, lash out. If it's not a mass shooting, it's a terrorist attack. If it's not a terrorist attack, it's, people joining rebel groups ISIS and so on and so forth. So there are young men who are cut off from society, who become a threat to society. And that's a big problem. I think in the US, it has just happened to manifest itself in this particular way. I think there are definitely things that could be done to reduce the incidence of it. I think it will be very difficult to do that. But I think more needs to actually be done to tackle it when it happens. Like, we already know that this problem exists. What can you do to protect children in particular, so that when it does happen, you minimize the casualties? I don't think that enough has been done to do that.
I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the proposals is to make these soft targets. They call them soft targets. Soft targets are places like schools, to make them not soft targets anymore. And one way that some people have proposed is by arming teachers. What do you think about that?
Arming teachers means you would train them, correct? So you're training them in order to be like a first responder.
Yes.
I think that could be one solution, but I also wonder whether maybe it's not better to have like armed security on the premises rather than the teacher, because bringing the gun into the classroom is also dangerous, right? Like the students within the class could also overpower the teacher, get access to their gun. So I think it's probably better to maybe have armed security at the perimeter, like the entry points of the school to begin with. And then, but then to also train the teachers to also be a first responder, to make sure that they have like defense training,
Yeah, they have a lot of
crisis
that.
management training.
They have a lot of that already in place.
Okay, then that's great.
But so what it's sounding like is almost like we're gonna turn, like, the idea of turning our schools into these, like, you get there and it's like it looks like a paramilitary outfit, like where you see people with guns.
No,
Doesn't
personally-
that do something psychologically to the kids going in there, where they're having, especially like whenever I hear of these schools where before kids get into the school they have to go through metal detectors.
And
To me that's just so, that's really psychologically that's disarming.
no, personally,
A place where kids are supposed to learn,
and it's meant to be fun.
yes, and and people are having to go through these screens, and there are these, security guards walking around with guns. Is that really what we want in American society?
Nope.